Stay tuned for Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis, a leading financial retirement strategist and the founder of Sudis Financial and Insurance Solutions, right here in Fresno. Every week, Dale discusses pressing financial topics of the week, ranging from reliable income strategies to our financial markets, including Social Security, tax strategies, wealth management, RMDs, legacy planning, long-term care solutions, and most importantly, how to make sure you have enough guaranteed lifetime income to retire your way with choice and dignity. From taxes to trends to total transparency, Dale covers it all. And now, here is Retire Your Way and Dale Sudis. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis, financial advisor and the founder of Sudis Financial right here in California. He doesn't like to come to the microphone, though, until the crowd.
No, I don't like the crowd. You wingnut. Spike, you're a wingnut. We don't need the crowd.
Oh, it's nice to have a little bit.
Yeah.
Come on, we gotta get you.
Whoop-de-doo.
Zoo in the morning. No, we've got a lot of good stuff we're going to talk about here today. Dale, how are you this week, though? Is it another busy week?
I am doing good. Yeah, they're keeping me busy. Yeah, it's good. I really enjoy working with people. I get, current ones I get to talk to. I get new ones to talk to, and we just have a good time. We get to know each other. I get to see what they're all about, and it makes it very easy to start mapping out things that can help them. And, it's really nice too when people come in and they pretty much have everything dialed in to just say, you're doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing. You might have to, a little tweak here, a little tweak there. And it doesn't matter. I don't get paid to do, they don't have to pay me. It surprised me. They always ask, well, how much I owe you? You don't. That's not how we get paid.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing the program with you is we hear all different kinds of stories. Hopefully you'll share a few throughout today's hour-long program. But it sounds to me like every appointment is its own separate puzzle. They're asked same kinds of questions. Is my money going to last? And what do I do? But there's different firms. Some of them just open accounts. Some of them just do insurance. Some of them just do taxes. Some of them are lawyers and do estate planning. But you bring the whole thing together and kind of coordinating it. And that's why I really like to hear the stories on the things that you can do and what you can't do.
Exactly. I mean, you think about it. People are doing different things. They might jump to different advisors even, may go, well, this guy's a good guy. So they go and talk to him. They say, I want to set this up or whatever. But who's looking at the whole picture for you, helping you make sure everything's, set up correctly? So I had this couple, they're friends. So they asked, hey, could you look at what we've got going? I get these bonuses and, what am I going to do with this? He makes tremendous income. I mean, it's like,
okay. Technically speaking, yeah.
So, technically, the technical financial term, he makes gobs or oodles of money. Income. His income's high. So I'm getting familiar with all the things, and I'm asking all about, income assets and different things. And, we got these two Roth IRAs we set up through a broker locally. We're putting $500 a month in each because we know that, it's smart to save with tax-free as well. And I said, well, did he, even ask you how much income you got? And, well, I think he did. I said, well, if he did, he doesn't know the rules because you cannot your income is too high to be able to contribute, into an individual Roth IRA. You have your 401ks and all that you're doing. That's fine. But your income is too high. In fact, I just, hit the button on my phone, called my CPA and verified it, and said, yeah. With this income, can he put? No, he can't. Okay. I've been doing it for 3 years, right?
Oh, no.
And, advisors love to take your money. They're getting probably a fee or whatever, but are they looking at the whole picture? That's my point, okay?
Shouldn't that have been a baseline question? What's your income before we do this?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a basic thing. And so because he was, getting this higher income and a bonus, starting out for the first few years, he figured, well, I could afford to put $500 a month in for her and $500 a month in for me into a Roth IRA. And, that would be a good method to do the $6,000 a year. They're young, they're in their 40s. So they have time for things like that to build up too. So, um, but then, so we're reviewing some things. I said, okay, so here's what we need to do, because you can't keep doing that. So why don't we use a different tool that acts like a Roth IRA? Okay. What do the wealthy use? I mean, he's making good money. So, if a person's making, even $1 million or more, what do they use to save and to have that money accessible down the road tax-free? Well, they use properly structured life insurance. So, and that was something he was wondering as well, because he only has group life insurance through work. And he's thinking, well, it might be good to have life insurance. I said, well, here's the method. We can take what you've put into each of your Roths so far, transfer that over to life insurance contracts for each of you, and then you can keep putting in your $500 a month. But we don't want to get some gigantic death benefit or cost. We want to get the minimum death benefit and max fund it, so that money, as it grows, you're going to be paying less and less for the insurance, because the cash in the pot, like, let's say you have a $100,000 death benefit and your cash grows to 80, 90,000. Well, if you die, it still pays 100,000. So you're only paying for $10,000 or $20,000 of life insurance if you get that, math. But in other words, how to maximize the growth in it, and they can use that money down the road in the pot, tax-free. But they still have life insurance in case she knocks him off. She's got a tax-free death benefit. Not that she will.
Watching
she tends
too much
to like
Dateline. Don't like to get
like
too many ideas there. But how about this?
Yeah. So we're shifting from the individual Roth that he can't use. When we move the money out of that into the life insurance, they'll have to pay tax on the little gains they've had, over the past 3 years, because it wasn't truly a Roth, growing tax-free. So now that money from, once we reposition it, it'll be able to grow tax-free. So there's different things like that, but it kind of baffled me. Why
didn't somebody,
why didn't the one who was setting that up didn't even know the rules, the basic rules? You can't.
One very simple thing. As you told me in the pre-show, so we're not going to say the name of the organization, but yeah, it was one of those larger ones. And you just need to know the kind of experience that somebody has that you're sitting across from. We ask that all the time. Does the alphabet soup behind somebody's name make them trustworthy or knowledgeable? And I think we always like to turn it back to the question is, what do you do every single day in the office? What is your primary focus? What are the things that your practice actually does? You've had that question before. What do you do? I often ask that when I'm sitting across from you. Dale, what do you do?
It's like you're traveling. We were just traveling. My wife and I, we had an anniversary trip to Vermont, and naturally you meet different people. You might be walking down the hallway in the hotel or on the elevator, and they ask, "What do you do?" And I've simplified to make it easy. What I like to tell people is we take the questions, the concerns, and the worries out of people's retirement. That's really what we do. So keeping it simple, just people are concerned about, will their money last, things like that. We show them ways not to be worried about their retirement by structuring retirement income properly.
Yeah, and trying to be well-versed in the things that you do. Also heard the phrase, stay in your lane. But when it comes to retirement planning, you do have a lot of lanes. You've got everything from the long-term care and the Medicare, discussions on estate planning, of course, the investment strategies. How do we protect some of it? How do we turn it into income? But all of it comes through the focused lenses of retirement planning.
Right.
Where this other person seems to be kind of in an accumulation phase, and they're like, oh, well, you can use this tool over here. Another thing that I'm not sure, and I'm absolutely certain you'll probably call wherever they're working and find out. Do you know if they had the offering of a Roth 401k where they were working, or was that not an option, and that's why this person was maybe saying, hey, why don't you do a Roth IRA? Maybe you can explain the listeners the difference. Is there an earnings limit on a Roth 401k?
Well, okay, so that's something everybody should be aware of. If you're working and your company offers a 401k, a regular 401k, you're putting money from your earnings into it, so you're lowering your taxes today, because whatever you put into that 401k, like an individual IRA, it lowers your taxable income. And I say, whoop-de-doo.
Is that another technical term?
Right now we're in the low tax That's very technical. Yeah. So because you're saving some tax today, but you're deferring the taxes on what you put into that account, the 401k, the traditional 401k, you're deferring the taxes on what you put in and the growth to a later time and a later tax calculation. So 5-10 years from now, where will tax rates be? Are they going to stay as low as they are today? So why would you save tax at today's low rate to pay tax at a higher rate? Well, Dale, I'm working, I make all this money. Okay, great. But when you retire, you're still going to need a decent income. So everything you take out of that, future 401k is going to be on top of your Social Security and any pensions, other income, rental income, whatever. So it's now going to be taxed at whatever the highest bracket you push your income down the road. And again, if it goes up, the taxes, what are you saving? And let's say you're married and one of you passes away. Now you go from the low married tax rates to the high single tax rates, and you're leaving a tax bomb for your loved ones. So there's more to it. And sometimes, yes, it's wise to defer the taxes today. And then when you do retire and you're at a lower income, maybe we start making Roth conversions. So a Roth 401k, you put after-tax money in. It's going to be available anytime you need it along the road, even before age 59 and a half. All the growth you don't pay taxes on. And in the future, the money you put in and the growth is available to use tax-free. And what's better than, that? Tax-free is great. So, keep Uncle Sam out of your retirement, bottom line.
You're listening to Financial Advisor Dale Sudas here, the founder of Sudas Financial. You can get started on your own no-cost retirement plan. That is your income plan, tax plan, estate plan, how and when to time your Social Security, whatever's on your mind. It is no cost to our radio listeners, but you need to reach out to us. We have a secure call center right now standing by. Take your call to set up that appointment, 833-856-1382. I mean that right now, 833-856-1382 to schedule your appointment with Dale Sudas and the team here of Sudas Financial. More retirement planning strategies when we get back. Don't go anywhere, folks. Commercial break. We'll be right back.
Call Dale Sudas of Retire Your Way and Sudas Financial for your complimentary Retire Your Way review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Are you worried about taxes eating into your retirement savings? By engaging in savvy tax planning, you might be able to create greater tax efficiency in your retirement plan. At Sudas Financial, our team of retirement planning specialists can help you explore tax-deferred and tax-free investment options, as well as strategies to help potentially minimize your tax burden in retirement. Don't let taxes derail your retirement plans. Let us help you create a tax-efficient financial plan and work towards maximizing your savings and minimizing your taxes. Call Dale Sudas of Retire Your Way and the team at Sudas Financial today to learn more about our tax planning solutions. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial right here in California, helping you with income strategies, tax strategies, estate planning strategies, whatever's on your mind, Social Security strategies. We can help you with that. It's called a comprehensive plan. And as Dale also likes to say, there's no cost to this. It's a conversation. Maybe they can help you. Maybe it's just a conversation. Maybe it's a pat on the back and say, keep doing that. Maybe through a couple appointments, we can figure out some things. Maybe there's nothing to do right now and it'll be 2 or 3 or 4 years down the road. But why not get the conversation started? 833-856-1382 is the phone number for you to dial. There's no cost to that, no obligation right now, no sales, no credit card, no nothing. It's just setting up an appointment for you to have a conversation. 833-856-1382. I can hear you there, Dale. I know you want to say something.
Yes, and just leave your checkbooks at home when you come to see us. We need to just get
bring
acquainted.
Those gold bars. No credit cards.
Right.
Yeah,
no. Just get acquainted, see, where you're at today, whether you're a few years or a few months from retiring or you're already retired. Let's look at the whole picture, make sure things are all up to date. Sometimes there's just simple holes in your plan, like, well, no, I don't have a trust, but you own real estate. You need a trust, right? To protect that to go to your family or whoever you want it to go to. and stay out of the California, probate system.
Well, an
But
important part of the conversation that I want to have right now is that even getting a second opinion or a review, or whether it's an estate
Mhm.
plan or beneficiaries. How about this? We've mentioned the phrase several times, refinancing your retirement. And just a baseline, it's more like refinancing your retirement tools, just like you refinance a mortgage. When interest rates go down, if they go lower than where your mortgage, so if you had an 8% mortgage and they go down to 4%, you're going to quote unquote refinance it, right? Everybody knows how to
right,
refinance their
yeah,
mortgage.
improve. Yeah,
Improve is what we're saying. So how do we improve our retirement tools? Didn't you just do this
exactly.
in your own
Yes,
household, Dale?
yes, I did. So, when you refinance from 8 to 4, you're saving money.
Mm-hmm.
So when we show people how to refinance their financial tools, it's how to make more money, right?
Mhm.
So, yes, I blame my wife for this. It was a good problem she created.
Good.
We were reviewing her 10-year-old statement on an account, and 10 years ago, interest rates were really low.
Yeah.
And so this had done
Barely had a pulse,
okay.
if you would,
Yeah,
back then.
yeah. So this did, great compared to the very low interest environment 10 years ago. But then I thought, wait a minute, there's tools today that we can use, and the potential earnings and the features, so many things have been improved,
Mhm.
advances, right? So I went ahead and called the company because I helped her set that account up 10 years ago. I called them and said, hey, can I improve this from this to that? And they said, well, yeah, you could do that. And great. I was excited, and then I said, who else is in that category? And I got some names of others that were, because I didn't know we can upgrade within the same company to that tool. So I had a few other names of ones who could do the same thing. And they and I were all excited. So it kept me busy, prepping getting the money switched over to the upgraded account. But it's a matter of, that's part of what we look at. How do you improve, what you're doing?
Mhm.
I've been with the same, company, broker, account, whatever. You might have an annuity, you might have an investment, whatever it is. I use CDs and whatever, So how can it be improved? How can it be improving your plan? Sometimes people just think, well, we just, take money to supplement Social Security and pensions from our accounts, and that's just not the way to do it. In fact, it's funny. I was at the gym, and there's somebody who I see regularly, and he was trying to pick on me, but I picked on him better, in a good way. So he was saying, yeah, my wife, I was telling him, this is what we do. We take the questions, worries, and concerns out of people's retirement. That's what we do. Well, my wife has this, retirement plan with the government. She's not working there anymore. And can you, roll this over? Well, yeah, but I'm not just going to roll it over because I don't know what all you need. Do you need more income in retirement? Do you need more liquidity? What do you need? I need to see the whole picture before I'm going to recommend where to put it. And it clicked because he was asking if I did certain types of investments. I said I don't get into those types of investments.
And I'm sorry, what were those again? What is this? Is this the crypto? Is this gold bars? Is
Yeah,
this
crypto and
hedge
things
funds?
like yeah, and things that are really risky. I say, look, the majority of people I work with are heading towards retirement or in retirement, and I'm not showing them ways to keep gambling. I first and foremost want to make sure they have guaranteed income to pay their bills, a paycheck, that they have, income to play, a paycheck. And when the play stops, you have means to keep yourselves out of a nursing home, pay for care at home, or worst case scenario, some kind of, assisted living cruise ship on land, So, that's our focus when we're working with families, because once you have your income dialed in, and you have all this excess money, you can, do all kinds of different things with the money, right? You can gamble, you can whatever, because your income will last. It'll keep up with inflation. And I dial the income plan out for people to age 100 so that, hey, and even though they say, I probably won't even make it in my 80s, I don't care. But your income needs to last. It has to outlive you because if you run out of income, what are you going to do? It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to.
Well, and as we talk about income here, that's why I want to say it again. When we're talking about refinancing your retirement, there haven't been many opportunities over the last couple of decades when there's been such a boom, such a rally on these kinds of retirement tools. And you and I have talked about it for a couple of years. Billions and hundreds of billions of dollars have flowed into the annuity space. This is Americans choosing on their own to go into this kind of retirement planning tool to provide income. And over the last year, as the interest rates had gone up, year and a half, there are better tool offerings. So we're just saying, hey, take a look at the old ones you have. Now, one real quick question, though. I know you want to say something. We also know that interest rates just came down by 0.5%. They just came down by 50 basis points. So does this mean that window is gone, or are there still better opportunities right now than there were 3 years ago?
No, there's still great opportunities. But, for people who, annuities, I hear bad things about annuities all the time.
Yep.
Keep in mind, when you retire, let's say you get Social Security, in fact, that's what I asked this person at the gym about. I said, what is Social Security? Well, it's money. It's, but it's a guaranteed lifetime annuity. Oh, yeah. I've heard of annuities. And I said, your wife's pension, what is that? It's a guaranteed lifetime annuity. The only financial tool that you can use to create guaranteed lifetime income is an annuity. Okay. Now, you don't throw all your money into annuities, so don't take us wrong. But let's say you've done well and you saved up money, you got retirement savings, whatever it is. There's ways to put a portion of that into a properly structured annuity that could, immediately or down the road, create additional guaranteed income. And some of the tools I love using, the income can increase, has opportunity to increase to keep up with or beat inflation, right?
Okay. All right.
And it might even get to a point where it's more than you need. So that is a tool to keep you, again, out of a nursing home, because you've got this income that's going to keep going as long as you're alive anyway. And it can be set up, even if it's your IRA, we convert some of that into this annuity and you turn income on down the road. You can have that income dialed in for you and your spouse.
Oh, wait a second, Dale. It sounds like we got a phone call. No, okay.
Yeah, sure we do.
I had a question, and that's why I was like, wait a second. How do I let them know? I have a question for you. If you don't mind.
Go for it.
Okay. And I know it really is going to depend on everybody's situation, but we are talking about annuity, and I want to let our listeners know you're a full service financial firm. Is there a percentage of life savings that you're comfortable with in using this tool? Because you just said this isn't an all or nothing.
No, you don't.
And you're not saying half. Is there a 1/3?
No.
Is there 1/4? That does it depend?
No, it totally depends. You got people who've got millions, but they only need a tiny portion of that to provide the additional guaranteed income on top of their Social Security and or rental incomes or whatever it is, right? Then you have people who, have a couple $100,000. Well, you still have to keep a good chunk liquid available. You can't, quality companies, you can't put all your money into the annuity, no matter how pretty it is, right? So everybody's different. There's no canned percentage by any stretch of the imagination. And there's times I tell people, no, we're not going to use an annuity. Here's a better method for what you need to do.
Okay. So one of the takeaways, though, from this right now, folks, if you're using an annuity or an interest rate-based tool from a few years ago, when interest rates go down, you know that you want to look at opportunities to refinance your mortgage. Well, interest rates had gone up over the last couple of years. Now they had just ticked down again, but some of those opportunities, better opportunities, do still exist. So find out if there's maybe a better retirement tool for you. We can do that review for you, and we'll actually do it no cost as well. Let's take a look at the tools you're using, see if there's a better offering that won't cost you. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. We'll do that annuity or interest rate review for you. Let's refinance your retirement. Let's put a couple of $100 more in your pocket every single month if we can. More of your spending ability. 833-856-1382. No cost for our radio listeners. to set up that appointment with Dale Sudas and the team here of Sudas Financial. More with Dale when we get back right after this.
Do you know how much you might be paying in fees within your retirement accounts? Just 1 or 2% in hidden fees can eat into your savings and potentially hinder your ability to achieve your retirement goals. But how do you know if you're currently paying these hidden fees, and how do you find them? Dale Sudas and the team at Sudas Financial can help you find the fees within your investments and explore solutions designed to assist with minimizing them. Take control of your retirement savings so that you can work towards keeping more of your hard-earned money. Call for your very own complimentary Retire Your Way review and fee finder report. Let us help work towards finding, exposing, and helping to eliminate those potential hidden fees for you. Call Dale Sudas and Sudas Financial today for your complimentary fee review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
You've heard the phrase, you don't know what you don't know, and we believe it's especially true when it comes to retirement planning. There's a lot of information out there, and it can be overwhelming and confusing. So how do you know what you don't know? Social Security, RMDs, estate planning, investment risk. These are just a few of the many areas that a financial advisor can help you navigate. But what else don't you know when it comes to retirement planning? Are you aware of all of the tax implications of your investments? Do you know how to optimize your Social Security benefits? What about your long-term care and estate planning needs? We believe that by working with a retirement planning advisor, you can uncover potential blind spots in your financial plan and gain a better understanding of your options. Don't let unknown factors potentially derail your retirement. Call Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial to uncover what you may not know about your retirement future and start your complimentary written financial plan. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale at dale@sudas.com. That's SOUTAS.com. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial, your income gap identifier. That's exactly what we were talking about.
Gap. That's what we were talking about.
Well, it's really important. Hey, look, first of all, announcement for everybody. If you hadn't read it by now, Social Security will go up. Your cost of living adjustment for 2025 is going to be, oh my gosh, it's going to be huge, right?
Oh, yeah. Write it down. Write it down.
Or noise. This is important. Here we go. 2.5%. 2.5%.
2.5. Woo.
Exactly.
Yeah. Open a new bank account for that.
You betcha. Yeah. I think as I was reading in most of the papers, it ends up being, I don't know, something like an extra $50 or something like that. 50 to 75 bucks.
It all depends on what your Social Security is, obviously.
Yeah.
What was this year? 24 was 3.2, wasn't it? 3.2, 3.5.
Yeah. And the year before that, was a lot higher. But don't forget, we were at ridiculously high inflation.
There were some years it was zero.
Yes.
Within the past 5 years or so, there were years it was zero. So, it on average, Social Security probably increases a little over 3%. It kind of maintains the same pace as inflation, right?
Right. But I was just asking you, we're both kind of guessing on it ends up happening to your Social Security check next year. So even though we are feeling the effects, you're paying for the effects of inflation right now in the current year, and then you get 2.5% next year in your checks. I don't know. I feel like it really doesn't help you keep up with inflation because you've already paid it.
How about the other fun problem people think about with Social Security? I was talking to somebody, in fact, it was earlier today, and we're talking, and the same one at the gym, and we're talking about what Social Security is. I said, well, you got to remember, Social Security is a guaranteed lifetime income. And he gave me that face like, really? Like most people, isn't it posed to, stop or drop?
He didn't like the word guaranteed. He didn't like that.
Well, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, it's not really guaranteed. And so we had a good discussion. It's kind of like we tell people the Baby Boomer Dilemma movie. It really goes into a detailed discussion about America's retirement experiment. Companies used to offer pensions. Most of them have switched over to like 401ks, what we call defined contribution plans, instead of defined benefit plans. Defined benefit means they're defining your income when you retire. Defined contribution, they're allowing you to throw money into a 401k, and now you, the employee, manages that with whoever they choose as a custodian. But the point is, they talk about roughly 2033, Social Security, if they don't make any adjustments, Social Security will have to be cut by 1/3
Oh my gosh.
for everybody, right? So more and more people think, well, I better start it sooner because they're going to run out anyway. Or they, like he's
kind of like looting the toilet paper in 2020. Everybody running to the store.
Oh, yeah. That's a good example.
That's it. And it does.
Yeah.
And all of this discussion belongs in the bathroom. But yeah, people going and hoarding it and thinking it's going to run out. And it's like, wait a second. There are still more trees out there. We are still going to continue to make more toilet paper. People are rushing to it right now. Now, this isn't the cause of why Social Security is looking at being depleted by 2033. There are fewer workers paying into it. It used to be like a 45-to-1 ratio of people working as opposed to taking Social Security. That was in the 1930s. And now it's down to like 3-to-1, almost at 2.7-to-1 right now. But the other thing is we're living longer.
Well, plus they put a cap. If you make more than $168,000, you pay into Social Security up to that $168,000, then you don't pay into Social Security. So, so if you make $100,000, you pay into it. If you make $368,000, you only pay into Social Security on your first $168,000. So there are ways that they can fix it. I'm not worried about really down the road, will they cut it so much? But what if they do? What if while they're fighting over which way to do it, we don't have income? There's going to be, they freeze Social Security for people. What have we put in place to fill that gap? And for most people, Social Security alone isn't going to cut it for their retirement, to pay their bills and to do the fun things they want to do, been dreaming about to do in retirement, So, there's ways to connect the dots with other tools that you can put in your portfolio.
Well, we started
by create more income
by starting about talking about the income gap. What if there is a gap? So what if the gap is Social Security? I'm glad to hear your confidence in the fact that the East Coast will come up with a solution. Personally, they can't come together on daylight savings time and whether we should have it or not. You think they're going to solve this, but I appreciate your optimism. What about other individuals? Where have you seen other income gaps sometimes that you need to fix for?
Well, for instance, recently I'm working with someone. He's looking to retire within a year or so, but unfortunately he got injured where he can't even work right now, and he's waiting on workers' comp. Workers' comp's dragging their feet, and even what he's getting through that's going to stop within a short time, a few months, and before he can actually start Social Security, how do we? For 6, 8, 10 months, how do we fill that gap?
Yeah.
So, we've already set something up. So down the road, he'll be able to turn on some additional income that'll fill in the long-term gap. But we've also we're setting up an account to where we'll have it available. And if the gap exists, let's say come January, then we're going to be able to just automatically put money into his account, just like a pension, just like Social Security or a paycheck, direct deposit, have taxes withheld if needed, and to fill in that gap. He'll be okay. It just, it's a waiting game with workers' comp. And it's...
Did he enjoy what he was doing before that? Did he enjoy his job?
Yes.
Or is it time for him to retire? I mean, is he comfortable with this? Or is this something that unfortunately the injury is kind of pushing him out of what he wants to do?
The injury is pushing him to retire sooner than he would like. But we have a good time every time we get together. We joke around and we have a nice time. I mean, that's when I have somebody sitting in front of me at my desk, as I get to know them, I look at, well, if I'm part of the family, if I'm your brother, knowing what I know, what would I do to improve, our retirement plan? That's how I look at people. And so I like getting to know people. I like to know, well, the hardest question, again, I'll say it again, is, so you're retired, you got all the money in the world, what would you be doing or doing more of? What is the fun things in life? And so many people, say, well, I don't know. Or, we live pretty simply, but, just taking care of family, spoiling the kids and grandkids, or the spouse, that's fine. Some
Sure, but there's only so many. Yeah, there's only so many days of the week that you can, babysit the grandkids, right? You're talking about lifestyle.
But every day in retirement is a Saturday, right?
Yes. Yeah. So you've got to just how much can you spend on that? I've said this many, many times over the last few years. I'll go out on a Saturday, start doing my errands. By 12 o'clock, I've spent $200 and I don't even have half of my list done and I haven't taken my girl out to dinner yet. I mean, so if every single day is like that, how are you going to build the income spend? And then more importantly, again, I want to go back to it, that identifying the income gap.
Right.
So now on two different scenarios, there's the concern of Social Security 10 years from now. What if there was a reduction, even by 10 or 20%? There's the concern, and this is something that's out of your own hands, is that what if your industry or your body and your lifestyle don't allow you to continue to do what you want to? Some people say, I'm going to work as long as I possibly can and make as much money. Mm-hmm. But what if the industry changes? What if you're let go from that job, or what if it's downsized? How do we create not just that income, but that savings gap of maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years? This is one of the things that derails people's retirement. It's not themselves, it's a job loss.
Right.
And that savings loss and building that.
Yeah. How about there's a couple I'm working with. He's, doing well with his business. He's making good money. But in talking to them, the wife, her job, even though she's what's called an exempt employee, which means they have to pay her double the minimum wage at least, right? But she doesn't get any overtime, and she's so an exempt employee. So she loves the income, but the job, she comes home just stressed and just she hates the job. And so I said, well, why don't you just retire? Because he's making enough income, and I get it. They would like to. The extra income they're getting is helping to reduce and maybe eliminate the mortgage within 4 or 5 years. Okay, great. But your plan will work even if you still have a mortgage, as I point out. And so I was talking to them recently, and I said, so did you retire? And she goes, I almost did. But in other words, she knows she's not stuck because we have put a plan in. So that's the other beautiful thing when let's say you're in that category. You like the money, but you really don't like the job. And so if you see the light at the end of the tunnel is not a train coming at you, but it's you aren't stuck with that job. You could retire if you want to, and you're not going to run out of money.
It's always what I say, those folks, are you one Monday morning meeting away from walking away? Are you one 8:30 p.m. email away from walking away saying, I don't need this anymore?
So all these kinds of things are what we talk about. So it's best for them, just let them know how they can set a time to come in and see us.
Absolutely. You can call the phone number here, folks, 833-856-1382. You can have this independent conversation with financial advisor Dale Sudas, who can let you know, are you close to being able to retire? Maybe you can right now. Maybe you need to work a little bit more. But let's find out. Let's take the guessing, the question marks out of your retirement. It's your life. You've worked and saved. Now let's find out how you can enjoy it. Dial 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382 for the first 10 callers. We'll do your retirement income plan. No cost for you. More with Dale Sudas and Retire Your Way right after this.
To get your complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Will you outlive your money? It's a scary thought, but it's a real concern for many people. In our opinion, that's why it's crucial to have a solid retirement plan in place. We believe that with proper planning, you can work towards making your money last as long as you do. Don't wait until it's too late to start thinking about your financial future. Call Dale Sudas and the team at Sudas Financial today to learn how we can help you create a retirement plan that can potentially help you obtain peace of mind and security for years to come. Don't let the fear of running out of money in retirement keep you up at night. Take control of your financial future today. Start your Retire Your Way review and financial plan by calling 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial. You can find out more about the team just by going to the website, sudas.com, SOUTAS.com. You can write Dale directly as well by writing him at dale@sudas.com. That's Dale and the @ symbol on your keyboard there, and sudas.com, SOUTAS.com. I want to discuss a little bit about risk before we wrap up today's program, though, especially today's risk. This year alone, we have seen our markets go up pretty well. We've actually been breaching over the 43,000 in the Dow. A lot more folks want.
And then it's dropping back down.
Yeah,
to
I know,
about 40.
I know. That's what I mean.
It's bouncing. It's a bouncing.
It is a jagged upwards climb. It is kind of a mountain climb. But how many folks, for the very first time when they come in, do they not realize either how much risk they're taking or how little risk they're taking? Like, hey, you need to step on the gas a little.
Good question. So, yeah, people, many times I see people, well, I have investments with XYZ, big, what do you call them?
Box firms.
Yeah, firms and
the
all
ones that are on the sides of stadiums and so forth. We don't have Sudas Financial on the side of a stadium yet, but maybe someday.
Nah. No, I put
side
on
of
the
an
side
airplane.
of my rocket. I put on the side of my rocket.
Okay.
Because I do shoot up high-powered rockets.
Yes, but you can paint that with a little nail polish brush. Those aren't quite as big.
No, it's 4-inch diameter. It's 8 foot 9 inches tall.
All right, Rocket Man. I know.
Yeah.
Just one of your hobbies that you get to enjoy.
Yeah, it's a hobby. It's crazy. All right. So yeah, people come in, they have their statements. They and I ask them, well, how much risk you taking, do you think? Oh, no, we told them we want to be conservative and all that. And so, when you have a typical investment and you look at a little pie chart and it shows 60-40, 60% stock, 40% bonds. Okay, that's what they call a balanced portfolio. But people don't realize that in the real scary times on the market, you can easily lose 30-40% of that. It can drop big time. So even 20%, 15-20% can make a big difference
a light bulb
when it comes to retirement.
That's a light bulb.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can stop you real quick. Take a breath, sip of water if you like. I never realized that. In a 60-40 portfolio, as balanced or as middle of the roadish as you might think that is, how much can you actually lose? So in a 60-40, if the markets lose 30%, you're still pretty exposed.
Well, yeah. Let's say one comparison I do when I'm showing them if we do an analysis on their portfolio, is the S&P 500 dropped by 53% during that 08, 07, 09 period, right? With the housing crash and all that. And with a balanced portfolio, you're down at least 30 to 35%. Okay, so it's still a big drop. And when you get closer to retirement, you need to, smooth the ride out. I mean, it's fun when we're young to get on those roller coasters, like go to Santa Cruz and they have the Big Dipper and whoa, that's exciting. Or go down to, what is it, 4 flags, 3 flags?
6,
10
you
flags,
goofy.
6 flags. Okay, whatever it is. Anyway, you go down there and I know it just has
4
flags.
flags.
Right? 4 flags, 6 flags. So anyway, you go
four
down
flags
there,
is like the
and
cheap
some of those rides are
amusement park.
exciting.
Yeah.
I like those kinds of rides, but is that the ride you want with your money? The big ups and downs and stuff like that? Well, no. We want to, get you, smooth it out, get you your money. When you retire, certainly you don't want to retire your money either. So it should be, earning something. You want it to be still working for you. But you don't want to put it at too much of a risk to where it can affect what you can do in retirement or how long your money will last in retirement. So, there's a balance there.
A phrase I like to say,
not a balanced portfolio.
that you are retired, but your money isn't. Okay?
Exactly.
But there are 3 different kinds of phases that we think of. There is the accumulation phase, and that's a good 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
And then there's preservation and distribution. But here's the thing. I think with preservation and distribution, they kind of overlap. Would you agree that maybe there's different buckets and different choices, but the accumulation stops, generally speaking, because, right, you're starting to pull it out, you're starting to spend it.
Right. So when is that? I mean, the retirement red zone is 5 years before and 5 years after retiring. That's when you really don't want to be taking a lot of risks, because the 5 years leading up to retirement, I actually had somebody probably 24 years ago I met, and he was retired, and his wife wanted to retire within the next 2 or 3 years. And, that's what, 24 years at 2000. That's right when things started to drop quite a bit, right? Early 2000s. Well, it was like 8 or 9 years later that she was finally able to retire, because they weren't comfortable with what they had. They didn't feel their money would last. And they couldn't, their money dropped so much we couldn't produce the income from it, because he kept too much on the market at the time. So, and once you're retired, you don't have to go back to work. I had somebody who, I talked to years ago, and I pick on him, call him a dingling, because back then he had his hand in all kinds of crazy things, investments. And I said, why are you doing all this different stuff? Because when you retire, you need income, right? Yeah. And Social Security's not going to cut it, right? And so I said, here's some tools, here's some methods. And I can't push anybody. I'm not going to push.
Right.
I can lead them to water. You can't drown them. They say it's illegal, I guess, is the way I put it. So he didn't. And then we set up a small account. So we review it from time to time. And he's finally retired. He, simplified, downsized house and all that. But he's now having to go back to work because he never set things up properly. He's still dabbling in all these different things that are not producing what he really needs to be retired. So I don't like to see that. But again, there are simple ways.
You can't force it on anybody. They've got to want to take the planning. And that's why we say this, even for our radio listeners, even for some of the really high-level professions that are out there, from engineers to teachers to CEOs to maybe your own private business owners. If you haven't done the accumulation to preservation to distribution phases over and over and over and over again for thousands of people, then you're not a retirement income and income gap specialist. So why would you take your retirement into your own hands for you and your spouse? Right. As you said, here's a couple of things sound like the person did right. They downsized their home. Maybe if they had kids, why do you need as much space right now? Let's downsize that. But if you're not actually putting together, we say this all the time, income is the outcome, right? That's what we're looking for. How do we turn it into income? Income decides the lifestyle, doesn't it, Dale?
Yeah, income is what determines your lifestyle. I mean, without steady, predictable income, it's hard to maintain that lifestyle. And if you're deriving income from investments that are bouncing up and down, or on the stock market, or based on what interest rates you can get, as the market goes up and down, as interest rates go up and down, then you're pulling money from those. And if the interest rates are down, the market's down, you're feeling like, no, I better not touch it. Well, why do you have to tighten your belt in retirement and not do the things you want to do because the market's down or the interest rates are down? That's no way to be living in retirement.
Why would you decide what year you get to retire based on what the markets did? What happens if there is a 5 or 10 or 20% pullback of the markets? You, as Dale just said a little,
right when you're about to retire, the market drops a big chunk. You know, what do you now?
You've already told your bosses and managers what you think of them. You've given them your 6-month notice, and now you've got to turn tail and go, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Do you still like me?
I changed my mind.
Can I keep my office down here?
But see, that's why we say the 5 years, especially 5 years before you retire, that's when you should be, really dialing things in so that you can retire without the market or other things, interfering with it, right? So, and it might be that we don't do anything together right then. It might be a year, 2, 3, 4 years later. That's when we start implementing some of the tools for your plan. But it may be some just basic coaching on how to reduce the risk so that you can retire down the road.
Dale, we only have a couple of minutes here, barely that even. For our listeners out there, if they are in that retirement red zone, nearing that ish, even closer to retirement than 5 years, maybe they're thinking next year, what should they be thinking about when it comes to risk in their what should they look for? Should they call their 401k? Should they ask them how much risk they're taking? How do we help them evaluate it?
Well, it's simple. They can come in. We can sit down together. If they're comfy, they can bring statements. I don't need account numbers, social security numbers. We could just do an analysis, help them evaluate, because everybody, what they need to pay their bills, what they need to play, whatever they call fun, the hobbies, interests, golf, whatever, is different. So, we start with the basics there, and really, it's smart to do that ahead of time, and it's not painful at all. Keep your checkbooks at home. We're just going to walk you through some options, and it's basically, and even ahead of time, if you want, the movie, The Baby Boomer Dilemma, we can provide to anyone if they just contact us. They can call our office, they can write us email, dale@sudis.com, and they can get their own copy of that movie. It's only 85 minutes, and it really opens up people's eyes how to properly view their retirement and how to create dependable income.
Folks, if you'd like to get a copy of The Baby Boomer Dilemma and see what so many millions of Americans are concerned about when it comes to retirement income, you can be part of that movement and watch the movie. Or you can just give us a call right here. We'll set you up. We can have you see the movie. Dale will come over to your house with some popcorn. You guys can all watch it together. No, I don't think that's going to happen for all the listeners.
No, we'll give you the website and link and the promo code to take it to zero, and you'll own it. You can view it more than once.
You can watch it at home in the comfort of your own home. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. Let's do an income review for you. If you're a few years away from retirement, or if you've already stepped into retirement, you're not sure how long your money is going to last. If it's been one of those dark clouds over your head, keeping you up at night, let's make that go away. 833-856-1382 is the phone number, or you can go to Sudis.com if you want to learn more about the team, SOUTAS.com. Dale, thank you so much for a great show. For Dale Sudis, I'm Spike Spangle. Both of us will be back again with more Retire Your Way, California, once again next week.
As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale and his entire team of retirement professionals invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement plan review session. 833-856-1382 is the number for you to call. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your very own retirement review session, complimentary for our valued radio listeners. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees, and risk? Or how to produce guaranteed lifetime income so your lifestyle and goals don't have to be changed with the ups and downs of the market or taxes? Call Dale Sudis with Sudis Financial and be confident you can retire your way. Schedule your own comprehensive and complimentary retirement review session. Don't just live in retirement, thrive. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. All rights reserved. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. A Roth conversion may not be suitable for your situation. The primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. The information provided is to help you determine whether or not a Roth IRA conversion may be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Please review your retirement savings, tax, and legacy planning strategies with your legal and tax advisor to be sure a Roth IRA conversion fits into your planning strategies.